Hi, I'm Enchanting Nubianette. Welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Everyone, this new story focuses on trust, accountability, and how lies can hurt innocent people. This is the story. A female worker at Doordash claimed that she was actually assaulted, while making a delivery. Now, in her version, she says that she went to a customer's house, something happened, and she was victimized. Now, her claim went viral all over TikTok. She made multiple videos, as well as on Instagram. Her videos can be seen and other social media platforms because so many people shared believing in her. But as the investigation unfolded, it turned out there was something far more complicated to this news story or her story. Now, according to many posts on Reddit and other social media platforms, she allegedly had order instructions to leave the food at the door. But instead, she entered the residence, or at least she crossed the threshold without explicit permission. Who told her to do that? Why would you go into a stranger's home when they're not greeting you at the door, and especially if you have definitive instructions to put the food outside? So when she went in the home, she found a man passed out, or he was asleep, deep in sleep. So she filmed him. She posted the content online, and then she claimed assault. Now, her Doordash account was deactivated after the company says it reviewed the situation. So, why does this matter? This is a huge, huge alarm. Because, first of all, there is an innocent person in this story. The person who was in the home, or the recipient of the Doordash food, seeing that he was being filmed, he's unfairly branded, embarrassed, and he definitely could have faced a lot of legal consequences, even though he didn't do anything wrong. He was sleeping the entire time. And also, we know that when someone makes false claims, or that most people would take it seriously, or they should. And this definitely erodes credibility. Also, she entered the home without authorization. That's first and foremost. She filmed this man, and then she's spinning a narrative of victimhood when she's not innocent at all. Plain liar. So this is misconduct, but it's definitely in a different direction, because a person who is claiming to be the victim, and she even said it in her video that she's a victim here. She was enraged, and I'm going to go into more about her, her crash out online as well. But she also compromised a lot of the gig work safety and trust between the workers and customers, and how the platform should handle these type of incidents. So I'm going to go into now the viral elements. So she went onto TikTok, as I mentioned. She's also on Instagram. She's also a clout chaser, a liar, and she wanted to expose someone who is innocent. I'm so happy that this backfired on her. When you watch her videos, and I have a video attached as well, she talks about, the date, when it happened, and, how she was assaulted actually, and how she reported to Doordash, and for no reason, her Doordash, the people who are higher ups in Doordash administration closed her account without even explaining why. So she's placing blame on them, saying that, she had this horrific thing happen to her by a man when she was doing her job. that she's such a good employee, and this is how they treat her, that they didn't care about her, they don't have any compassion towards her. That's what it sums up, and that she's a professional and they're not. She didn't say that, but that's what it implies, you know? So this clout chasing is just horrific, because she made so many videos regarding, because TikTok as well, they took her videos down and she has 2 strikes. And she said that, if she can get a 3rd strike and then she'll be off TikTok as rapidly. Well, she deserves to be off TikTok and any other social media platform because she's not telling the truth. She's not a woman of integrity. And this is extremely harmful to an innocent man. So she definitely suggests huge motivation of gaining fame, of 5 minutes of fame, and also money that she doesn't deserve, because obviously she wants to, bring on a lawsuit to acquire even more money with these false claims, so-called seeking justice. But when this claim becomes content, it's a really dangerous territory. This man was passed out sleeping. I don't know what he was doing. And you know what? I'm not even going to go into it because, again, she had no right to be in his apartment or his home. She had no right to film him. He stated that he wanted the food to be placed outside. So the consequences, like I mentioned, thankfully she lost her platform account. And I'm going to go into some legal consequences at the end of the video. But this man, he has rights as well. He can definitely have a lawsuit regarding her trespassing, the invasion of privacy, defamation, lying on him multiple times. So she had her ripple effect. She had her karma instantly. So right now, online, I'm going to get it, the information. But I definitely want to mention as well, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to look for it in a minute. But we have so much that she can be charged for: the trespassing, invasion of privacy, unlawful recording of someone in their home without their consent. She trespassed. She didn't have any permission to be in a person's home. She was falsely reporting, making false statements to law enforcement and even Doordash, and stating this online, and defamation, harming the resident or homeowner, his reputation, without any basis for this. And because the platforms and police laws, they do vary, YouTube family, from state to state. I would say there are definitely going to be charges, I would say, but because the laws vary from state to state, I don't know what those charges are specifically at this time. This is a shame because, I cannot take when, people lie like this. And as a woman, when they have women who have been assaulted for real, and they have been shamed, they have been violated, there's times when their true stories and their experiences, the violations, are not taken seriously, by law enforcement. And depending on the situation, most times, so many women really need to have an expert lawyer in order to speak on their behalf, to advocate for them, because it's not easy. Thankfully, I have never been assaulted, thank goodness. And I definitely, side with all the victims, men and women who were truly violated, children as well, of course. In this case, this woman, she not only, pretended to be a victim, but she went online and, just attempted to destroy this man's reputation, and he was innocent, not even awake. Imagine that, he's asleep and then he's still being filmed. Thank goodness Doordash, that they did some investigation, put the information together. I don't know all the details of that, but thank goodness that, the truth has come out that this woman was lying, period. And I would love to know her history. I don't think this is her first time, because she actually, took advantage. She took this moment, instead of doing her job as a so called good employee or a DoorDash driver, she tried to make, something happen. She tried to make threats and cause someone to, face serious charges, instead of just leaving the food there, going on and delivering to someone else. And now she's saying, oh, this is my only hope of even having money, because now that I lost my job, how can I pay my bills? She should have thought about that before she made this huge, disgraceful, damaging accusation. So in our work and in our communities, truth matters. Integrity matters. When someone claims assault, we definitely should listen. But we must also support through the investigation, because we need to protect the rights of everyone. False or even, these sensational claims, we know they do a lot of damage. I don't know her name, because if I knew her name, YouTube family, I definitely would have mentioned it. I have her picture. The video, of course, is attached. But, these false claims, they should not distract us from the real stories of harm. Okay? And they definitely undermine trust. It's really hard to even trust people for what they say because of things like this. For example, we know like Jussie Smollett, he did the same. It still baffles me. This man is truly talented, a talented actor, in my opinion. He's also a talented singer. He was on a hit show, Empire. And I'm sure you know the story where he lived in Chicago. It was a very extreme cold night, and he hired, two African bodybuilders to claim that he was assaulted physically, like not sexually, but more physically, like beaten up, because he wanted clout as well. And he also wanted to, I guess, make gay men more of a victim, and, say, probably clout as well. He wanted to increase his stardom. He was definitely on his way. And I believed him at first. And it's so interesting, because when I first heard the story, there were many people, in various communities, and especially in the African American community, they did not believe him. They knew something was fishy. And afterwards, like maybe after a day, looking at all the information, it didn't make sense, especially in a brutal cold weather, for him to, no one was out there with him, and all the cameras, thankfully, surveillance video showed that nothing happened to this man. Once I saw that, it was a wrap, and he was still saying that he's innocent, even up to this day. So he sabotaged his own career. I don't know why, it's a shame, because people have this opportunity, they're making money. There's no reason in the world for someone to, cause someone else harm like this and to lie. But, clout chasing. This is what happens when you have too much greed and you don't live with integrity. So I'm so glad, again, he had his consequences for that, and this woman will as well. And regarding, gig workers, customers, and people on different platforms, we all must respect boundaries. And in this specific case, the instruction was to leave the food at the door. This woman should not have entered the home. You definitely don't film anyone in their private space and then go on to turn this non-incident into something viral. Okay, everyone should be a responsible professional. And then where she went on to report on this man to different platforms and to the police, it was so extremely unnecessary. So, I'm glad that everyone sees, through the lies. She opened herself up to, getting legal charges, and everything, backfired on her. And she needs to really get it together morally, because now her professional life is a mess. Now that she's on all over the platforms, people are sharing that she lied. How is she going to get a job now in the future? What about all the legal charges? How is she going to pay for that? So she caused a huge, harm to herself. And this is how things backfire. This is exactly what she deserves. She intended to do harm to someone else, and karma came right up and bit her on the behind. So everyone, what are your thoughts about this case? Please leave your feedback below. You can also watch a video online. Many people have the different versions, their feedback regarding this case. It's extremely alarming when people do things like this. Thank you again for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Stay safe wherever you are.
Assault. Hey guys, I just lost my job, and they won't tell me why. They're supposed to send an email immediately after deactivation providing you the reason why and a link to appeal, and they didn't. So I contacted support, and they made me sit on the phone with them for 50 minutes just to tell me that they can't tell me the reason why, and I have to just go ahead and appeal without knowing why. So my chances of getting my account back, they have my money in that account. I was working. I was literally working, and they deactivated me. This is related. They just punished me for posting about my sexual assault while Doordashing. They just fired me, and the police are doing nothing. I lost my job, and that was my only way to make money to pay my bills. Hey guys, so yep, I really lost my job. Within less than 24 hours after me submitting my appeal, they denied it. And in the email, they said, you can respond to the previous email that you received explaining the reason why you were deactivated. I never got the email. So last night, I contacted one support agent. We sat on the phone for 25 minutes, and then she transferred me to the community response team. The person on the community response team told me that was the highest team I could get to. There's literally nobody else she could transfer me to. I could hang up the phone and call back and then get transferred to the community response team again. So I sat on the phone with her for another 25, 30 minutes. And she told me that she couldn't tell me. There's no way that they could tell me what the reason I just lost my job. You guys, my account is currently at risk of being banned because I had to explain my story one time, right? They took the video down and gave my account a strike. So I explained my story again and censored the video that I have just so they can't take it down for the same reason. They took it down for the same reason again, and now my account has a second strike. Guess what? If I get one more strike, I'm banned from TikTok. So not only did I get assaulted 3 days ago on October 12th on Sunday, I then lost my job. The police are doing nothing. And if I get one more account strike on TikTok, my account's done. This is a man's world. I'm the victim. Remember, I'm the victim.